team, Warriors, have already caused a complete rumble here in the Boston Major, getting themselves to the quarterfinals, and now they're on the road to the semis. However, standing in their path is none other than OG. Virtus.pro have been added to the pile of teams eliminated now as 9 are forced to watch from the Wang Theatre instead of playing on that beautiful stage. And talking of the stage, it's time to get them back on it. It is going to be Warriors Gaming and OG to meet the crowd.
Reigning champions and two-time major winners Fly and No Tail have returned to the fray with a revitalized squad. Competing in their 4th consecutive Dota 2 major, quick, smart, and deadly finishers, they've recently rediscovered their mojo, giving us a taste of that killer instinct. Welcome on stage, OG. This all-Malaysian squad vanquished both Fnatic and Mineski to secure their ticket to Boston out of the SEA Regionals. Competing in their first event outside of Asia, they are redefining expectations, both at home and abroad. Lethal in the late game, mid laner Nana is a force to be reckoned with, and this fledgling team is well on its way to success. Welcome on stage, Warriors Gaming Unity.
Quite the contrast on the main stage here for the Boston Major. You have Warriors Gaming, who, when I was desperately trying to find as much information as I could that Winter couldn't provide, it was, of course, just 8 words on their Liquipedia article. And OG, they're sporting a short novella on their page. It is truly not a mismatch, considering how much damage WG have already done here.
Yep. Chance for Warriors Gaming to add a few more pages to the Liquipedia entry today, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I can see possibilities of that. Hey, they've taken Wings as scalp. They've already proven that they can beat Complexity, who in turn beat EG. I mean, was this the WG you were expecting, Winter? I always direct this first to you because the first thing you said to me was like, people will underestimate them. That's surely well and truly past now. They're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think people don't have that much information on them, and because I watch them a lot, I know that when they play well, they can beat a lot of good teams, and they're not a team that you should underestimate.
I think it's safe to assume that will no longer be done. Of course, OG will have done their homework coming into this one. You can bring them up. These guys are seasoned pros, Fogged, and they are going to be doing their very best to make short work of WG.
Yeah, I mean, they're, like you said, seasoned pros. They have a very constant and sustained lineup that just they execute in a very similar manner in multiple of their games. They usually just draft very even lineup that has multiple different damage instances, physical, magical. They have a concrete initiator as well. It's just a very straightforward and concrete lineup that they always tend to go for.
They have a good setup system to deal with a lot of different things that the opponent throws at them.
Who jumps out of the page when you look at those 5 names, Fogged? I mean, we talked about Jerex and his roaming, but outside of that, I mean, you've got the no-tail fly combination, or is it the newbies?
I always have to go for Brotail, I call him, because he really a lot of the times he sacrifices himself for like the greater good. Even though like he's put in the position where he's more so the carry, he kind of just makes his like mid laner always shine. Like when he was playing with Miracle as well,
like
he would put himself in that position. Yeah. So that's why I call him Brotail. He just helps out his buddy out.
Okay, I like that idea. Just putting a nice, pretty frame around their carries. Yeah. We can have a quick look at who's going to be going down here. I do want to just quickly ask Ted, when you do bring them up, it is going to be not necessarily the roster that jumps off of the page. To you and to the desk, it does seem like the general consensus is that they pick up these victories as a team. They function well as a unit of 5 outside.
I think that's super important. You get a lot of teams that are maybe less fancied and they've got like 1-star player. But I like the idea that a team that you can do better. You can do an awful lot if you work together as 5. And I think Warriors definitely demonstrate that.
What's interesting as well, I did hear whispers, Winter, that you were suggesting that Nana has been regarded as someone who's relatively quiet, a reserved voice in the team. Is this something that you believe can have an adverse effect, or is it okay? You sit support, you do your job, you don't necessarily need to communicate.
Like what Yanis told me, he said he doesn't like, as a support, he doesn't like to play with a mid player that doesn't say a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
He needs him to at least bare minimum say, oh, I'm having trouble in the lane, can you guys help me? I need stacks, you know. You can't just sit in the game and not say anything at all, because Nana was one of my teammates mid player back then, and he told me that he doesn't say a lot in the game, but maybe now he's changed.
I think it's also like a bit team dependent. If you have like 4 very heavy talkers, then maybe in that case, in those type of scenarios, you can have the mid laner be a little bit more quiet and reserved. If you have like, especially if you have like a captain, just being able to like look at him and be like, all right, well our mid laner needs help. We're making the rotation like that.
But shouldn't that be his job? That
right.
In my opinion,
he should be telling his team that if he needs help, not the captain. Oh, clicking on him. Oh, he's having a hard time.
Can you imagine, like, if I asked you to name another mid laner that strikes you as someone who's quite quiet? I mean, I can't imagine no one zipping his lip when he needs help. I can't imagine Sumail doing it. You know, I mean, who else springs to mind who falls into that category?
I don't know. What about S4 when he was playing mid? Was he quiet? Because he's always struck me as kind of a quiet guy. Was he a talker?
No, he's not a quiet. I can guarantee you, he's not a quiet guy.
Good.
He says a lot of things. Like he calls a lot of things. Like the way he tells his team what to do, what he needs, and in the team fights, I think he's best at team fights. He calls every spell. What spell he needs right now? Oh, there's going to be a RP coming in.
So he comes alive in the game because he's like a super quiet guy.
I think it's important to have like a balance. Either you call like I need help, or you can say I don't need help. You guys can just don't come near my lane. Do whatever you want to do. I'm perfectly fine in that manner. There's like a definitely a range between the two.
Well, the primary voice in Warriors Gaming is Afu. He is their captain, and we had a quick glimpse of what was going on in his mind ahead of this game.
Okay, I'll take them. It's all good. Yeah, we got one. Yo, what's up, Win? How's it going? I want to get some spicy stuff, okay? We're going to do 3 of them, all right? I want you to look scared, you know? They're coming at you. You're in Roche. You're alone, baby. Give it to me. Looks frightened. Oh, like terrified, dude. Give it to me, Win. Give me your best scared. Just turn around, pop it. Just pop it, all right? Pop it out. Yeah, a little bit more surprised, but I'll take it. Okay. Looks scary, like you're going to kill somebody. All right, give me a kill somebody. And turn around for this one. You know, give me the back and then give me the, you know, like, all right. That, you went too quick. That was quick, dude. Go on, give me the passion right here. Okay, Wen, go for it. Where's the passion, Wen? Wen, the passion, hit me with the passion, Wen, come on. Just turn around, give me your best look. Shoot her the look. Give me, oh my God. You'll kill her, Wen. You're beautiful, that was it. I'm sold, buddy. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You're a god.
Slight miscommunication. Actually, their the 6th man in the roster for Warriors Gaming who could be jumping in their stand-in. It was Wen, not Afu, we got to see doing some fancy spins with Slacks. Winter, I mean, he is there to stand in should they need it, right?
Well, I'll tell you something I think about this team. I actually feel like they function better with Wen in particular as the offlaner. Because Kang is a player that has a higher skill cap, but his chemistry with the team is not as good when Wen was on the team. That's what I felt when we were scrimming against them and they sort of made the swap. Kang was a recent addition to their team.
I always think it's interesting to hear people's opinions because it is quite the polarizing discussion. Was when you ask about having that sixth man, having a sub, having that sixth body available fogged. Does that kind of keep everyone on their toes? Want to kind of stay in the starting roster? Does it make people feel? I mean, as a sixth man, you kind of feel a little undervalued, right? You don't get to play as much as the others.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that definitely lights a fire under you a bit. Just like, I really have to.
You think so?
I really have to do really well this game, or what if they just sub me out? But it's role specific though for the most part. So you kind of know if you're in that position. They already have the sixth sub, and if he's the offlane player and you're the offlane player, you're like, now you really have to pick it up a notch. Just make sure you always do well.
He played 2 roles for them. He was initially playing offlane, and they brought in X Nova, and then they made him he was like offlane, then he was support. He was moving around.
Okay.
But I think his best role would be his offlane role.
I want to take a look at this featured matchup. I want to go ahead and put these two guys under the microscope because you know who's featured. It is the aforementioned Afu and Jerax, both playing the support role. However, there are some integral differences. First, we start with Jerax, who has been hailed by the analyst desk to be one of the best, if not the best, roaming supports. Does that sound about right, Ted, from what you saw from him yesterday?
Oh, he's great. I love watching him. He's just one of those players that can make plays happen, and that is so important. We've talked a whole bunch during this tournament about support players being able to enable your carry and your mid to go on and do great things. And Jerax is a guy you would love to have him on your team. He's a natural. He's gifted.
And that spotlight video as well. We learned quite a whole lot about what was going on behind the scenes for Jerax, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, the fans love those. I love watching those because all we see from these guys is they come out on the stage, they go in the booth, they come out of the booth, and that's it. You don't really get to know them. But yeah, he seems like a really cool guy as well.
He's like I think he's probably one of the dream support players to play with. He makes so much space on the map. Like even if sometimes his moves don't work, he forces reaction, and that's really important in Dota just to do that.
I mean, you were getting so frustrated, Winter, at there's a Nyx assassin not making the engages. That's not something necessarily Jerax would be doing, right? That's not something you'd witness from him.
Yeah, he would do that with even less farm.
Yeah, he would go.
And that's what you need. That's what you need from someone in that role. But what about on the other side of things? I mean, you got Afu.
Yeah, we were like talking a bit about the difference between the two players, Afu and Jerax. They're both the same positions, but they're very different. Afu is the captain of the team, and he wants stuff done his way. And Jerax, people say that you got to let that guy have his freedom. He has to be able to do what he wants. The captain doesn't need to take care of what he needs the player to do.
You don't shackle the wild stallion, all right? You let it run free, and that's Jerax.
So is OG a bit more of a diplomacy, and we've got a bit more of a dictatorship coming in from?
No, I think it's player, depending on the player.
Okay.
Like some players are better off on his own, and some players are better off. You need to control that specific guy. You stop him from diving. Some players are like that.
OG seems more diplomatic though, right? With Fly.
Oh, he's super. I mean, he's just the calmest guy.
He gives his team a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
from
definitely.
what I understand.
I think the experience of players like Fly and Notel, and S4, of course, means that they're able to look at players like Jerax and they know exactly how to use him.
They're using him very well. Like Fly is using him very well, and I think I would like to highlight his teamwork. Jerax and S4, they have very good chemistry in the games that I watch them play.
Watching them work their magic. And we are going to work our magic on the desk in terms of predictions. Ted, looking fantastic in this suit today.
Thank you.
Going for that lilac as the finals grow closer.
Yeah.
What have you got for me?
OG.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they're
pretty open and shut for you.
Yeah, they're a really good team. The funny thing is I've been at a bunch of events where I've seen OG. Notel is always a super relaxed guy. He's funny. He's when they're not playing, he's very relaxed and funny. But when it comes to the games, he completely changes. He becomes very serious. He doesn't want to clown around. Embarrassingly enough for me, just outside, just before the game, I was having a smoke, and Notel was out there. I've seen him do this a few times. He takes a moment to just sort of focus, and he just on his own. So he's outside there, he's leaning against the wall. I kind of wasn't aware he was there. This guy comes up, and he's waving like this, and I'm like waving back to this guy. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like holding up his camera. I was like, yeah, sure. And then I peer around, and there's Notel, and he was going, obviously, to get his picture taken with Notel. And I was like, I'm just waving to someone across the street, no problem. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
My classic way to get out of that is when you put your hand up, and then if someone walks past you, just kind of go like, oh, yeah, just really, I've got an itchy scalp.
Yeah, I mean, I can't like run my hand through my hair and make out I just had something on my hair. So, yeah, I just sort of sucked it up and went inside.
Well, I mean, this could very well be a rather one-sided affair on the predictions. I'm intrigued to know whether or not you believe in the Malaysian side here, Winter. Could they really continue to cause upsets versus the titan that is OG?
I think there's a chance, though. I'm not so that OG has enough information about this team, and if they get caught by surprise by certain strats that they are very good at, And their mid lane, like Ana is a player where I think sometimes when he falls behind, he struggles a lot. He's not that kind of like Sumail. When he falls behind, he's able to come back into the game.
Okay.
So he might struggle against Nana in the laning phase.
So win condition 1, shut down Ana.
Yep. So I think WG will be able to pull this upset here.
Ooh. Okay. Throws
tool.
it down.
Wow.
Yeah, no anime.
didn't-
I support that sign. I support the no anime sign.
NP are playing next. We will be get to see some of that. That's coming in, of course, versus DC. But first, all attention on OG.
Wow, Winter. Sticking with your
Do you
boys.
think that was a prediction from his heart or his head, folks? Because you've been forced to...
That was a hard
That
prediction
was-
from Winter.
That was a hard prediction.
Hang on, what's happening here?
What?
Winter has a heart?
Winter has a heart?
Why can't I have a heart-to-heart prediction?
That's fine.
You can.
Fine.
Just
good.
admit it.
We'll give him one.
Yeah.
It came from his heart.
I think those are he did make good points. I think I'm going to go with OG. I think that WG can definitely take a game just based off of strategy, and if they do punish Ana, I think they have a couple things that they really work well around, like particularly their Omni Knight, their Legion Commander, these type of things that we don't see all that often, but we have been seeing more here at the main stage. So I'll still go OG though.
That's a 2 for OG, and I'm afraid, Winter, I'm going to leave you out in the cold with this one. I'm
I'm
going
fine,
OG.
you know. I'm used to you ditching me.
Wow.
That is
That's not
definitely
even
not
true.
true. Yeah, we played chess last night, and I
You
destroyed him.
ditched. The game wasn't over and you ditched.
Oh, dude, come on.
He
It was
checked
over
me
the
like-
moment he
He
started.
checked me like 4 times. Anyway, OG have been winning the panel. Let's see if they can win the draft, because it's coming up right here, right now. Expectations for the draft, you guys have made it clear that there are some slight differences between the two. Warriors, you said that they may not have had, OG may not have had as much prep time to prepare for the Winter. There's surely no curveballs coming out. You keep mentioning Meepo, not in a quarterfinals game.
Maybe Naga Siren, like
Ooh, okay.
similar style heroes. I think both teams would have a good chance of picking the hero and playing the hero. Not sure if you're a fan of it because it's like kind of like a
It does extend that game.
yeah, not so much fun, but you know it wins you games if you know how to play around the hero. Very annoying for the supports. Something like Alchemist.
What about OG, folks? Is there anything that just immediately springs to mind when you're thinking about OG in their drafting phase? Trying to get anyone on something specific?
They just draft really well rounded, pretty much all
Rounded,
their
okay.
games. Yeah, that's the one thing. I think probably the big one that stands out to everybody is like the Darkseer Earth Spirit. That's probably the one that I would say. Just if they go toward like a, if they don't have a main initiator, it's either they pretty much pick S4 an initiator or someone to start the fights, or they pick him like a Darkseer and they make Jarax be the one who forces the initiation.
It's one or the
I
other.
think you want to put them on like something that relies on a lot of coordination to do well. Like
Yeah.
Bat Rider plus a follow up or Darkseer plus Earth. That's one of my favorites for them.
Yeah.
Well, we've got time to do some recap, because already that Naga Siren dream has been dashed by Warriors Gaming as well as Luna.
Oh, first
And
pick OD.
we have, Shadow Demon's
Bold.
taken out as well. They go OD first pick.
And Timber as well, a very good ban against Warriors because they like to utilize heroes that are very good at destroying the laning phase. Timber, Sand King, Legion, heroes that have passive that allow them to make the laning phase very difficult for their opponents.
We did see Nana on a very good Timber, didn't we, at one point?
Yes, with the
Yeah.
Omni Knight backing him up, he was just like just kind of standing there in
I
the front
wonder
line.
if you'll see a first phase sniper here from OG. One of the better heroes to deal with the
It's a
OD.
disaster!
I think like Rubik Sniper could be a pretty cool approach that they could go for.
You don't like the Ogre sniper?
I guess the Ogre Sniper's too there. But okay, wow, they go straight for their mid laner.
First phase Invoker?
That's a little bit
Is
bold.
that first phase double mids?
Yes.
Yeah, they picked
Yeah.
the mid sphere. I don't think I've seen that in a while.
Invoker struggles against OD though.
So they do go for the Rubik. It's very good versus OD, and it's just a safe
But the
pick
lane
overall.
is not as good for Invoker. Like the 1v1
Definitely not.
lane is not good. So that's going to be the worrying part. Like I said, if OG is going to lose the game, it's going to be on the lane. If Ana gets dominated by Nana in the laning phase and he can't really recover. For WG right now, there's a lot of options open for them. Pairings that go well with OD. We saw I think one of my favorite pairings is the IO plus OD. That's what EG did a lot. But not sure if WG would go for that. They don't really play IO a whole lot. That's
That's the
This is
LC.
their comfort, yeah.
LC. They are off lane. Something that they, apart from this team, we saw from yesterday, LGD.
Yeah.
Like to pick LC a lot. Got banned
So
every time against
China,
them.
Malaysia, they like the LC. And I mean, we've explained it once, but likely there are more newer viewers who might be a little surprised by the LC win. So just quickly, briefly, could you summarize as to why Warriors are going to be doing damage with that?
I think there's two reasons why you pick the hero. The first main reason would be you want to use his press the attack to remove like stuns and
Right.
disables like Beastmaster, Mirano, bigger options. The other reason I think a lot of the C teams like to pick him is because he has that passive to lane very well. You can pressure a lane and you can create very good dual lanes. Like Omni Knight would be a really good dual lane with LC.
They ban it though right away.
The other
Kind of
good dual lane would still be the IO. You know, I like IO plus Legion Commander. Something Navi like to run a lot in the past. Pretty good. In the first few minutes, you can put a lot of pressure, give the Legion a lot of mana.
I just thought about a kind of cool interaction too. If you duel somebody and it's like, oh man, my LC is gonna lose the duel, you put him under, and then you kill the other guy, and you can still get the duel damage. But I mean, that's just a small little interaction. I think it's cool because it leaves them. It leaves it very open. It's like, okay, we know that this is the mid, we know that this is the offlane, but it doesn't show any of the supports at all. So they can still pick some interesting combos and still build toward their like 5-man unit.
So is this going to be a Jerax Rubik? Because I've seen him play Rubik before, like incredibly well.
On this team right now in the current patch, I think I favor more of like a 5 Rubik, but I wouldn't say it's entirely not possible for you to run a position for Rubik.
Yeah.
We've seen support Bad Riders yesterday, so I'm not going to say.
Yes. and
Mind-blowing.
If the guys at home missed that, strongly recommend searching on the internet for Purge's explanation of that support battle.
Yeah, that was very funny.
That was brilliant.
I mean, remember what I told you about the 4-row? Like Alex, it's not about what heroes you play, it's the way you play the hero into a roaming position.
Oh, he's a troll.
Don't wake him up.
Just
Don't
leave
wake
him.
him up.
We'll have a solo cast.
That's great. So they ban out the Drow, they ban out the Omni Knight.
Yep, heroes that would allow WG's lineup to shine in the laning phase. Drow OD don't really want to deal with that. It's very difficult. Like OD alone is gonna be a lot of problems for the Invoker.
And both those are like 5-man enablers. The Drow and the Omni Knight just lets warriors group up.
Hello, balcony people.
Wow, you do just bring the hype sometimes, Ted.
Dude, what more can you say? They're on the balcony. Well done.
Congratulations, you chose a seat. I love that we are seeing the crowd actually give genuine draft advice.
but
Pick Phoenix.
There's a lot of OG fans out there today.
I mean, Phoenix has been one of OG's favorite heroes.
Maybe. Got an analyst in the crowd. And another Dro ban. This poor hero has not been given too much chance to
Okay,
This
so
is OG.
that's going to be the Jerax Rubik. So
Yeah.
Kotal will be handled by Fly. Usually when they pick Kotal, they pair it up with like a very split push heavy hero. What's still remaining is there's still Alchemist, right? No, but it's safe lane. Probably not. Maybe something like Morphling.
But LC's decent versus Morphling too.
Yeah, Morphling is very weak against that hero and very bad against OD too.
Yeah, because obviously you get silenced when you get dueled up, so you can't morph, and OD obviously being able to steal the and doing heavy burst damage potential versus morph.
Just that lockdown as well, right? It's just like literally that straight lockdown for morph.
And the lane's just you already know that WG is going to be going for lane pressure. So if you pick up a morphling, you're already like under the gun a bit. Yeah. Of just in the laning phase.
Actually, might mean they want to go aggressive as well. Like Rubik and Kotal, you go on the aggressive, and with Sunstrike, your lane is pretty scary. So that leaves OG a lot of options here. They might not want to go for like some sort of split push hero, but they might just go for like really strong lanes to destroy the opponent in the laning phase, which is something I highlight a lot when I talk about WG. You need to be able to deal with them in the laning phase. You can't just pick weak heroes in the lane and expect to get away with it.
Do they heavily like the Earth Spirit, or do you think this is a bit of like a deny type thing?
I don't know. It's like not exactly.
They already had the Rubik Coddle. Yeah, good point.
They wanted the Earth Spirit, like to have a hero to roam around.
The pressure, yeah.
But the synergy with LC in a dual lane is not the greatest. I don't really like Earth Spirit plus LC dual lanes. I don't think it's that strong.
So he'll probably just be emphasizing more on the mid lane, just with the Astrals and putting a lot of pressure on Ana, like you mentioned.
Try to bully the Invoker, probably. Yeah. That would be his main job, I guess, this game.
And it doesn't give the Earth Spirit's great versus Rubik too, because Rubik spell stealing anything from Earth Spirit's pretty garbage, to be honest.
Oh, that's the lane pressure. This is gonna be very worrisome for WG. Their lanes right now, because you have the Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit is a good roamer, but not very good at sitting in one lane.
See who's going to be the response from Warriors. It seems like you feel like there needs to be a change here. Winter, you feel like when Warriors game
I'm looking at Warriors lineup and I'm like, God damn, they're terrifying so far. But I like the way,
the lanes are like weak. Basically, what could happen right now is they do like Rubik plus Kotal plus another like a Juggernaut top, or okay, there's no Juggernaut anymore. So Warriors go back for that better laning phase for the carry, because what might happen is like Rubik quarter +1, strong carry top, and Sun King could go 1v1 against the Legion Commander bottom, and with Sunstrike, your top and bottom lane is just going to be absolutely difficult to lane.
Do you think maybe they OG want something like an Ursa, something just can? They don't really have that much physical damage in
Yeah,
their
I
lineup
like
right
Ursa.
now.
Ursa is really good against Juggernaut in the laning phase, and basically they're just going to get crushed in the lane. And
Yeah.
look at that ban as well. They're banning out one of the better supports to have to handle the lane pressure, because you can push the lane out with your heal, and then you get your creep pull going. So you enable your carry to get experience and farm under the tower.
So the Omni and the Dazzle ban are just to like literally keep applying that pressure in the lane.
Yeah.
They can't really turn it around easily.
Not sure what else you can actually pick to replace that, because I would say Dazzle, Rubik, Kotal are both of the 3 best position 5 heroes. When you are dealing with lane pressure, you
What
can
about
push
like
out
Witch
the lane.
Doctor maybe?
Witch Doctor, you can't really push out the lane that well, but
Not for the pushing, but for the maybe the heal
To
and
deal
the
with the
bongos
lane.
and stuff like that.
yeah, it's still pretty decent in the laning phase. But if OG picks up a really strong carry to lane against like what Yannis mentioned, Ursa, they would have a hard time in the laning phase.
We've already seen one great Ursa today.
Yeah, very effective.
Sumail. That was actually the way we got our sub 20-minute game. That is a reminder, everyone, that we do have EG in the semi-finals. The winner of this will meet them.
This is a very tough pick for WG. There's not many good like supports that can lane against that. Like Disruptor, all really weak. Like Witch Doctor you mentioned is pretty decent, but he's not gonna have a good time against their heroes, in my opinion.
What about Lion maybe?
Lion is also quite weak in the early phase, but he does provide a lot of burst damage for the LC where you want to finish the duel.
Helps with the finger for the jewel. Pretty good.
Lockdown.
But regardless, there's no like a clear good pick here for WG.
There's the
very
Wisp, but you said they don't really play it, and that doesn't really
they
help
don't
their
really
lane
play
much.
that hero. Like
Yeah.
that hero would be good for them.
Oracle.
It's like so like good with the duel. You can make sure the LC doesn't die, and you
Yeah.
always get the duel damage. But he's very very weak in the lane, like super weak in the lane.
Yeah, they at least have like the combo too at the healing ward from Juggernaut, so if anybody does get ulted, they have a lot of sustain and
That's like mid game, you know.
mid-game
like,
stuff. Yeah.
Early
What a-
game
could-
is hard,
Could
very
they have
hard.
taken something like Skywrath maybe? Pain in the neck in the lane and
It's-
helps with the jewels as well and stuff?
Yeah, it's possible, but then again, the laning phase, I don't think it would change that much. Skywrath against he's very good at bullying one hero, but
Yeah,
if 3
yeah.
heroes come to the lane, then Skywrath doesn't do much.
Yeah, yeah.
in
Well, we
that
did
lane.
say that OG's kind of like magical, like not entirely magical dependent now, but they do have like the Fate's Edict from the Oracle to kind of counterbalance
But
that.
still the Morphling.
So they do go for the morph anyway, even though it's versus the Legion and the Ursa.
But they have
and
have
OD.
very strong lanes though. Their lanes are still really strong, and WG is really weak in the laning phase.
So your question then, Winter, you did have some faith in them, admittedly was with your heart. They have to survive the laning phase.
Yes.
That's your first.
Usually
condition.
they have the better draft in the laning phase, but not this time.
Wow. With that said, will the Warriors Gaming continue to surprise us? They did it once. They've already beaten Wings. They did it again. They beat Complexity, but now they've got bigger fish to fry. It's OG on the stage standing against them, and already Winter says they have to weather the storm of the laning phase. Let's go ahead and introduce our electric pair for your cast. It's going to be Malini and Toby One.
Obviously, all the electricity comes from my Zeus caster.
I don't think he meant that.
He meant electrifying?
Yeah.
You're electrifying, Malini.
Okay.
We're going to go into this game. OG versus WG is what we're about to get underway. Game number 1 of this best of 3. WG, were you predicting them to be here after Complexity had their run and now WG into the quarterfinals?
No, I didn't expect them to be here, but I actually think they stand a better chance against OG than most people think. They're no pushover at all. And yeah, their draft is probably a little weaker compared to OG, but it's in their wheelhouse.
Well, if they can survive the laning phase, as Winter said, then maybe we are going to have one hell of a game. Both teams look like they've got a really stable lineup where there's no real weaknesses beyond the laning phase.
I think a lot is on the Earth Spirit. If you can run around and get a lot of kills. It's not a hero that we see too often as of late, but still favored by some in particular. Because if he can pressure the lanes and force the supports to break up and maybe have like Morphling left on his lonesome or force their like one of the other heroes to run around, like Jarex, maybe play way more defensively instead of offensively, I think they can do okay in the laning phase.
Speaking of No-Tail being on his own, we might actually look at this little small movement. So OG are already changing their lanes up. So S4 is going to head down to the bot lane. This is going to push Notel to the off lane. Now, he's done this role before with a couple of other heroes. Obviously, he's been playing a hell of a lot of Luna of late and has been heavy on the rotations. This time around, when you're playing Notel's Morphling, do you want him coming into early fights? Or is it that farm up, you're going to be brilliant in the mid game, just survive until then?
Well, the great part about this is he doesn't actually have to make the decision. With a keeper on your team, you can just recall him if you'd like. However, Notel is one of the carriers that I would say is most involved with his team. Generally, it's like more Luna Juggernaut that we see him fight more often, but yeah, it's very easy to just bring him in while he's farming. No problem, and then he can just replicate back to the lane that he was farming in.
Jirax is starting his rotation. X-Nova's going to see him moving to the top lane. Jirax already had his own Observer Ward down, but he didn't get a glimpse of X-Nova moving over. But this kind of lane is rather difficult to kill, especially once the Oracle hits level 2, because then you've already got the escape of the Juggernaut through the Blade Fury, plus what Oracle's going to offer through the Nuke and Fortunes.
Yeah, Jug's actually a pretty good hero to get sacked. He can come back later, he can still fight without many items because he does a lot of magic damage with the Blade Fury, and he also is not really susceptible to being tower dove, or, I mean, their initiation is a little weak, like, what, telekinesis into Mana Leak? It won't be able to kill a Jug. He can easily spin TP at this point in the game.
Yeah, the initiation comes later when the Morphling gets bigger. Bot lane, there's a lot of farm actually coming into Kangaroo, as Afu just gives him a lot of space around S4 too.
Yeah, they need to at least win one of their lanes. And it seems like they're winning 2 of the lanes right now. Nana ahead up in CS, just barely in the mid lane. And Afu, as you mentioned, kind of bullying out S4 in the bottom. And top lane, OG, Jirax and Fly are kind of just running around. They want to utilize the big pool. That's one of the benefits of aggro try on the OG side. I guess both sides now. But if they can utilize that pool, they can come out way ahead in this lane and severely impair the Juggernaut.
Well, but the Morphling's already far enough ahead as it is. If they can just keep the balance, then sure.
Oh, there's a haste rune for Jirax on the top.
Now, this is a dangerous thing to have with his boots up as well, that high movement speed, just making a run over on Nana. But no telekinesis, so there's no straight setup. Anna's not going to be able to get that Sunstrike onto position.
And Earthspear's ready for this.
He's actually sitting in behind the tree line to the east of the Tier 1. Interested to see exactly what he's waiting for, because you can start off with the Astral Imprisonment, and then he can Rolling Boulder in. It is a level 2 Earth Spirit, so here we go. Rolling Boulder over, hits into Anna, and with the kick, pushing him back down the ramp. Does Anna have enough life to survive? Got the cross up, makes a break for the tree line, and Anna, no points up in the Arcane Orb, but still only a level 3 OD. So Anna survives on roughly 30 HP.
Oof, that was so close. They did the best thing that they could with the block, but just not enough damage. That little bit of extra armor from the Ring of Aquila certainly helping out there. A very underrated build.
Well, you asked for it. You wanted the Earth Spirit to have his rotations, and Fu was happy to oblige. Even if he can't find the kill, Invoker having to burn more consumables.
Yeah, and OD is ahead in CS, and that was a good rune for OG. Jirax looking to go back to the mid lane. He knows OD's very low on regen. Like a Wild Sunstrike or a Telekinesis and a Sunstrike could spell a kill for them, but I don't think he'll be able to get a courier kill at this point. It is well past 3 minutes.
At least the movement speed's down, but you know, maybe he's just waiting for the real thing. Anna's got Cold Snap up and available, so they start with the Imprisonment. I was actually losing a little bit of armor thanks to the Forge Spirit. Now Jirax movement is a little off. This bot lane is a lane which is working really, really well for WG. The highest CSer on the Dire side belongs to the Legion Commander, and the SK not getting as much out of it. Even with the 2 points up in Caustic, it's not forcing the Legion out, and it's a 23-5 against now 13-1. SK.
It seems to be one of those lanes where if you're at the core, you're just like, I just need a little bit of help. I need like a 1 level advantage, even half a level advantage with boots, and then you can just leave me alone, which is exactly what Afu did.
Afu, Jirax, looking for a body block. Afu just TP's out. He knows all the stuns have been committed.
Yeah, not really wanting to risk the boulder block. And Kangaroo, pretty close to level 6. Maybe they can set up a kill. Earthspear's coming in, but he's not going to be level 6 by the time he gets there.
I wonder if the Legion even really cares. He's going to get his life back. Like, S4 does his harassment until S4's got potentially Arcanes. Don't know if he wants to go in for the Soul Ring style build.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes you'll see Arcane, but here he has Keeper on his team. It's not that big a deal that he's going to run into mana issues. I think they do need the Blink as soon as possible because he's by far their best source of initiation, and of course they want to create space for the Morphling
Well,
later.
he can get away with it. Like, the Ring of Regen's enough to keep him in the lane up against a Legion who's not doing anything to harass him. This may change a little bit later on. Noticing the build with the 3 points up and overwhelming odds and almost duel, 8 points away of experience from this. Really great time for the Earth Spirit to arrive on bot lane. So now Legion is level 6.
They might see that there's no creep wave in the next wave and hunt Jerax down. They have the free scouting with the Earth Spirit. It's still half duration on his invis. Now it's about the time where you're like, okay, the creep wave's not here. Something little fishy's happening.
It's kind of funny because the shoe's a little bit on the other foot, because normally with a Legion Commander you have someone like an Invoker who will lend a Sunstrike. But in this case, the Sunstrike's on the side of OG.
S4 walks in, they drop an Reservoir Ward behind. Can they catch him out with a stun?
Well, there's your overwhelming odds. Kick will begin. He's low. Now the taunt begins, but Jirax throwing away the Legion Commander. Is the damage going to be enough? No, the OD Imprisonment. It'll arrive. This will still find the kill in favor of WG's mid.
Nice little play by the Rubik there. I think Rubik, like, he tried his damn best to save the Sand King, throwing away the Legion as far as possible. But no dual damage, I guess, at the very least for OG, but very well played by the Earth Spirit. He, very good rune for him, and I like his Observer Ward placement to see exactly what was going on behind enemy lines. They have to be very careful with the LC duel later on into the game. The Blinding Light is very annoying to deal with as an LC, because by the time you've already dueled, so you can't purge that blind off.
S4's TP tops. This is the first rotation of the offlaner. Notel intentionally taking damage. He is baiting in Jit. He'll make a break for the tree line. Cut his way out. The Sunstrike's on its way too, but already S4's found the kill. So quick movement from OG. We expect this from them. They've done it the entire major around. Normally it's with their one position rotating, but it makes a lot of sense for S4 to come.
Yeah, they have to be really careful with their TPs, just like the Earth Spirit. He could have spun TP, but he was like, okay, this Morphling is manning out. That means more people are around. But by the time he realized that he didn't have 3 seconds left on his Blade Fury.
They're TPing him. The Juggernaut's there. Now, with the silence on the Morphling, Fortune Send locking him in, and Notal will fall. OG thought with the kill, maybe they can get a significant amount of damage and potentially even the whole Tier 1 tower on top, but they lose their Morphling instead.
That required very precise play from the Earth Spirit. There's an Observer Ward behind the tower, so they saw where the force was, but he rolled in, he did the pull as he was rolling, and there was just not enough time for the Morphling to react to get the strength gain before the silence came out.
Another in, actually this one's just smoke. Jirax walks up the lane. Sunstrike, oh no! He threw him out of Anna's Sunstrike. You've still got Notal to waveform in. And Imprisonment will kick in, and S4, he is totally dead, Nana. No matter what happens here, the Burrow Strike from S4 hasn't actually what got the kill, it was Anna. So OG will have to pressure a different Tier 1 tower. Already X Nova TP's in. He'll be able to pull the wave back with Fortune's End, or just his basic attack.
OD also wasn't able to spend all his money there. He had 250 unreliable, but just kind of sat there during the Astral, perhaps waiting for his teammates to come in. But there's no really saving him unless they have False Promise up on the Oracle. But as of right now, OG, they're trying to pressure the mid in the top lane while letting the LC farm up. They don't really view the LC as that big of a threat, I think.
S4, Epicenter as well, commits. Legion Commander will press the attack. No reason to duel, he was dead.
Yeah, the Sunstrike pressure is just way too strong. It's really threatening the other two lanes without OG having to move around a lot.
And WG really didn't want to have this kind of timing. They needed that Legion Commander because now Earth Spirit rolls in. And again, it's this rotation. Silence on the SK. No way to Burrow Strike out. He'll die from the Astral Imprisonment.
Easy kill. This Veil is going to do a lot of work for them, too. It synergizes especially well with the Earth Spirit and the Oracle, I would say. And normally you think of Nullfield particularly good versus WG's lineup. But with Veil first item, even before Treads, they're going to be hitting very hard. Like, even Astral Imprisonment itself is a fair amount of magic damage.
And this is something OG will not be surprised by. They do have one of the best Earth Spirit players in the entire world in the form of Jirax, and he loves that Veil-style build. So they know just how much work WG can do in the early game. For now, WG are just happy taking in Tier 1 tower. Fu sitting behind the tower as...
Jirax smoked up in mid, waiting for someone to defend this.
Well, the Oracle's there, but he's just there to pull the wave back.
and they are reinforcing with the Earth Spirit, so no chance of a kill in mid, and there's where you turn your eyes to top lane. They know that there are no supports with an Observer Ward behind, and see 2 heroes move up there.
Spin TP. Take out the creep wave, get the hell out of there as the Juggernaut. Move on to another objective. If you lose your tier 1 tower on top lane, you're okay. It's a straight tier 1 for tier 1 trade.
Yeah, and a lot of fighting items coming out. Morphling also going for a Treads first as opposed to a greedier, BOTs or even straight Linken's Rush from him.
S4 and Jirax are hoping for some kind of opening. The vision does see a little bit further up. That's just the hero vision.
Look around in mid. Kangaroo, Nana, wrapping around that mid T1. They're flanking Ana.
Well, this initiation timing is not too bad. You still obviously don't have Legion Commander with an ability to close the distance, no early drums, no blink dagger.
And no blinding light on a keeper. That blinding light is really good versus the OD in the LC here. Like, it's going to be very difficult to kill people during the duel without those.
Describe this effigy. It doesn't have one, so you can fill in the blanks.
It's Juggernaut's version of the fear pose.
I would say googly eyes. Look at those eyes. That is not natural. Either that or I do yoga.
There are no words for that, Toby.
Yeah. Well, hang on, we just gave him some.
But he didn't have any for himself. Wow. Rumble in the jungle. Where's that?
Oh, I like that one. Good caption. Good caption. I'll give it that one.
What are they all looking at?
I honestly don't know, but he's having a very close inspection of the Centaur's shoulder.
Yo, look at them. They're like best buddies. Satyr has his arm around him.
Hey,
Centaur,
everybody
bro.
needs a hug, man. Everybody needs a hug. That's how you get Macho Centaur. That's the competition for that one.
Well, you need to be able to do effigies of neutrals. That'd be cool.
That would be a...
I don't know if I'd waste a block on that.
It's not a waste. It's not...
That reminds me of Zeiss.
Slippery when wet?
Zeiss was kill me. That was his caption. Because Morphing's just, I don't know. It just kind of looks like he's giving up on life there. What is this?
It's inscribed as "Don't hit my face," but is it like workout? Like you got to look at a very close area of a hero to work out who it is. It looks like an Earthshaker, judging by the totem, and the reveal. He actually looks like he's attempting his own facepalm. Ah, Wings Gaming. Clipped. All right, maybe we should actually talk about the game a little bit more. So we have a small break. So WG, not a bad start for them. Initiation items are still a little bit further out, but this appears to be like that, just that early kind of fight. Do you actually want to allow this to happen? As long as you're up against someone like a Warlock where there's a big golem coming down, is there any negative side to both sides actually looking for early engagements?
I think WG, they're more pressured to do stuff around the map, just because I think they have the Midas up on the Invoker and they have a Morphling. Morphling is one of the best late gamers, definitely the best late gamer I would say in this game, and the best split pusher. So I think that the later the game goes, they're going to win out in efficiency over WG because of BOTs, recall, replicate, and just the split push threat. So they need more kills with the LC. They need her initiation item ASAP. I don't think that Shadowblade is as good as Blink Dagger here, but OG Fly says the magic words, ready.
Nice.
There we go.
We can keep going.
Yeah, so let's see how this gank goes down in the middle lane. And they set up onto Ana. Keeper lights there. Everyone from OG rotates.
Yeah, they're ready to fight this one. Ana dropping so low, those nukes, and then the following kick from Arfu hits the mark. That is a big goal scored by WG in the mid, and now, with everybody here, they can keep pushing to the tier 1 tower. The healing ward behind them, the sustain is nice. Fly's actually keeping himself secret for the moment.
One thing that we didn't talk about too much is the OD plus Oracle. They can actually push a lot. They have a lot of sources of heal, and on top of that, it looks like OD's, he has a cloak in his inventory. This leads me to believe that he's going for, early hood? It could be a casual cloak too, but if they want to go for all these early game items and push high ground before Morphling gets big, I don't think that's too bad of an option for them. They have almost infinite sustain.
Even just a casual cloak would be nice, but no, it is actually going to be a Hood of Defiance.
Yeah, this is becoming more and more common on the OD's mid, depending on what lineup you're against. Right now, they don't have any physical damage. Maybe a little bit from Forge Spirits, Sunstrike's Pure, And then Morphling, it's still going to be like 10-15 minutes before he starts doing any sort of appreciable physical damage.
It's still interesting to do that, though, as opposed to like Dragonlance we've seen. Obviously, with a natural transition into something like the Hurricane Pike, it's just OD's bread and butter. Play from distance.
Yeah, he wants his supports to do a lot more damage, though. There are Spirit and Oracle that are not just there to play purely defensive. They want these heroes to do a lot of damage. Like even the Invoker in the mid lane getting nuked down by the Purifying Flames with the Veil. It's nothing to scoff at.
Hafu was so close to that Radiant Observer Ward. I don't know if he actually knows it, but he's sitting just in a small gap. Okay, now he just flagged himself up, and the ping came out very quickly from Jirax. Understanding there are his rotations coming to the top lane.
Jirax is level 6, waiting behind No-Tail. Very little chance of a gank here without a Blink Dagger. And Legion Commander, no Quelling Blade, just not really interested in farming anything other than the lanes, but that would have been a very difficult kill. I think they'd have to like roll onto him while silencing him, then like push him into the LC or something that's just way too difficult to pull off.
So a 12.5 minute Hood of Defiance plus Veil of Discord. This is an insanely tanky Nana as Zalo. Initiation down to the Sand King, even committing the ultimate and the duel. This is the plus damage. The first of the game for the Legion Commander. They do commit Magnetize for it, but it's SK down and now pressure to the mid.
It's a tough game for the SK. He doesn't have that many places to farm. Morphling and Invoker just soak up so much of the map, and you need his Blink too, probably before those other two items, but there has been a lull in action, and OG are kind of unsure as to where to farm right now.
You look at Arthur, he already knows someone's going to be there with the Illuminate flying. Potentially could have initiated into the Keeper of the Light.
Yeah, they're scared though, because the Earth Spirit has long distance initiation without the Blink Dagger. So in the early game, WG has the lead when it comes to initiation and the way the team fights boil down, but still you have to fear this Morphling is going to get his farm.
Same with the Invoker, running the hand of Midas, building into the drums. Invoker's progressing nicely, just avoiding these engagements. Legion does pick up the Blink Dagger, so now the map becomes a lot more dangerous for OG. But their warding they've got down is really, really nice. Check out around the mid tower as well as up inside the Dire Jungle. If anyone is going to just slip out and not be the whole, well, we sit in lane or we farm inside the jungle, OG will know about it.
They certainly will, and they have even more in their defense with the OD giving away Astral to Rubik. Very good versus Omni Slash, very good versus LC Duel. It's pretty nasty spell. Rubik, I think, has
Gank is coming.
Top tier pick.
They just found their best target. It's the Morphling on the top lane. This is where this smoke maneuver, the first reveal of the Blink Dagger of Legion Commander. Press the attack, start the duel. Earth Spirit will help out, and do we have? We have ourselves a winner. The Legion Commander now plus 24 on the damage, not to mention the time where the Morphling will remain dead.
Yeah, and they really need his Lincoln's ASAP. Not sure if he regrets going the treads or not. That would have probably put him pretty close to his ultimate orb. And this way your window of actually dying to the LC is just much, much smaller. Right now it's probably like 10 minutes instead of maybe 3 or 4. The treads probably haven't paid off for me yet just because they haven't been fighting at all. They haven't really been able to pick engagement because WG are just moving around together as a 5 and they have better vision around the map. They got that pick on the Earth Spirit, or sorry, on the Sand King.
What item do you actually look to see the Legion Commander pick up on bottom lane? ODE. It's the imprisonment that came out, but it's the one that was stolen by Jirax. Now you run in, the duel is up. They actually grab Anna, the Invoker. The kick flies through, grabbing both of them, meaning Jirax cannot escape out of this one. It'll be one more hit to do the work, and there it is.
Earth
a double
Spirit.
Kill, and now 4 in total for the Legion Commander.
Earth Spirit is definitely delivering this game. He has the majority of the pressure on his shoulders as he tries to wrest control from OG in this early game. Fly getting set up on.
They want to kill Kangaroo. The Illuminate, it does, nothing thanks to the beauty of raindrops, and then you even blink away as the Burrow Strike initiation comes just a little too late. That is now all Tier 1 towers lost for OG, plus more engagements going the way of a Momentum Legion Commander.
So you asked what items to go on LC. I think Blade Mail's okay. There's not really that much I think he's going to be...
Do you want something, though, that breaks the Lincolns, is what I'm thinking.
What items are there? I guess maybe Force Staff, I guess, is the only one. Other one that I really see. There's not too much.
A little bit of trouble right now for the Oracle. Caught inside the tree line, so S4 and Jirax going to find themselves a freebie. Sunstrike throw on just as almost insurance in case Nova tried to TP out.
Yeah, they have to be a lot more careful. The Blink Dagger has been out on S4 for about a minute and a half now. And despite OG being slightly behind in kills, they're still doing pretty well in net worth. And I would say that they have better late game, especially with OD going like this very mid-game centric build. So they need to be able to survive in the next 10 minutes, not give up too much, not give up Roche, and not give up too many towers. And a lot of that is on like the Keeper to be able to stall while keeping himself safe, the Sane King to be able to split push out lanes without getting caught by the Legion Commander. So it's a very tense game at the moment.
Fu now has his own Blink Dagger. They have no observer wards for this smoke gank that we're watching from WG. Hoping for some kind of target of OG inside their jungle, but it's empty. The rest of OG are farming up Ancients or pressuring out the top lane. So here it is. WG makes the most out of it. No one inside the jungle. Put up a defensive ward inside the Radiant jungle and start up on Roshan.
Yep. And OG's suspicions are confirmed as the skin hits, and then
do you contest though?
There's no way. They're just not in position to do so. They're trying to get as much tower damage as possible, but it looks like Earth Spirit's already TP'd back to the T1.
Yeah, so is
T3
Oracle.
Rather.
They want to TP to the tier 2 tower and properly fight this with both the ES and the Oracle here. They'll have the problem where OG have better vision. The Observer Ward's already on the hillside, but they're rolling Boulder forward. Afu with the control. Sunstride's coming in. The Barrow Strike from S4, plus the Deafening Blast. It was stolen, but it's still the Morphling to go down with the taunt. Will it be enough? The Invoker will fall. The winner is still assigned to Kangaroo. And with a kicker and Keeper of the Light, they silence the SK. No easy way to run away from this one. OG, they thought they had the advantage. They thought they had the vision.
That's not a play that you expect. The two supports the TP back very early on. That's what set it up all for WG. And they both TP'd back like to the T3, so the T2, you can get that 3-second TP in. And this Earth Spirit is just destroying No-Tail over and over again with those silences. And he's sitting out, you know, a fair amount of agility because he wants to be able to do a lot of damage to the towers, but he is at that threshold where he is going to die during the duration of the silence before his teams can heal him up. Like it's not like there's a Keeper's Axe to keep him up. There's no Oracle on his side to keep him from that, and that's a personal positioning thing that he needs to look at. Like how are they going to push towers without him dying every time in the fight?
Rather difficult when you don't have a save. It'd be nice if Oracle was over on OG, but as you said before, like with Keeper of the Light and Rubik.
If you don't have a save though, then you got to sit at
they're going duel. Again. It's time to duel and fly. Well, like Kaiba continues to lose. Now the tier 2 tower will be claimed as well.
What was that a reference to?
You should know. Tier 2 tower, so that belongs to WG. You continue to add a lot of pressure. They got a lot to work with still with the Aegis Immortal. The OD's feeling very comfortable. You don't have Omni Slash up, but 30 seconds we back off cooldown, the jump forward. They're just bringing down any kind of illusions to anything which comes near the front lines.
And they have so much sustain. Like, the Hood is also good if he just wants to cast Purifying Flames on that.
Look at the wraparound.
Without anything.
It's S4 on the back lines. Killing a courier won't be worth it. He wants the big initiation. Under the cover of Invis, there's no detection down for WG. I think by that ping, they worked out that something is a little bit awry. But the Invis room wears off in 2, 1. S4 makes it to the tree line. The ping came out. That one actually came out from S4. But Juggernaut's on the run back out with Purifying Flames, plus the press the attack. There's 2 very low. S4's got a nice target. It's a Legion Commander trying to TP out right under the SK's nose if he even has one of those. Legion Commander, okay, with Phase Boots, slips back through the tree line. But S4 still hot on the tail. The duel will begin. Will it actually be enough? It will be. Kangaroo will find that kill, while Anna got peeled off on the bottom lane. 2 heroes down for OG. Only the SK has buyback, and WG again come up into the OG home.
They just had no vision back there. S4 was trying to make a big play with the Epicenter, but his invisibility wore off, so he couldn't see any of the heroes, and he was playing blind from the left side of the map.
Fly slipped that one in.
This LC is just immensely difficult to kill.
Pick up, throw it back down again on the OD. They got nothing. Nova's still hovering in behind him, and this is just like Oracle has never-ending heal to give out when he sits next to the OD.
It's quite nice. Don't really need Arcane Boots. He just picked it up, but I mean, he's been doing a lot of work without it. First 20 minutes of the game.
I think he just needs a little bit more of a mana pull, that's all.
Yeah. And they were sieging that with just a Yasha on the Juggernaut at that point. Now he has Manta Style, but I mean, they don't really have the items on some of their cores. I guess the OD is mega farmed at this point. But his item build is really good for sieging.
So you got to remember, got about 1 minute and 10 seconds until the Aegis the Immortal will be reclaimed from the OD.
And they're trying their damn hardest to split push with the Morphling. Him and Ana are
actually
on that
sending
bottom side of
both.
the map. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of right. Like, if you don't send both of them, then WG's not going to see it as a real threat. But already, like, the Juggernaut TP's back over. He'll hold this out. WG are in no rush. They're claiming all outer towers. They are sold inside the OG base. When you have an OD, like your most farmed up hero is your OD, and he's the one that's sieging. This isn't even their time to push yet, but they could.
They know they have a lot of time because they've killed the Morphling 3 times. And OG, they still want to use the Epicenter on Senki. It hasn't been used in, what, 7-8 minutes perhaps?
Well, that's what we're expecting. At least I was expecting it with S4. Like that Invis rune, slipping in behind, get into the tree lines, channel it off and have a crack.
But they're really scared of the Oracle. Like, if they don't kill Oracle, they're just going to waste all their ultimates on someone. And especially if it's on the OD. Like, OD, I don't think he's even going to die without the Oracle there. Looking at his item build. He's in Trez right now. He's in Strength Trez, 1700 HP with a hood, with the extra armor from the Veil.
Well, the only way you kill Oracle is having fantastic wards or WG in a bad position. And right now, WG is not giving him such an opportunity, so has to go to Vision Game.
I think Jarrett can make big plays too, with like the spell steal and then like an Astral, defensive Astral or offensive Astral, and Keeper of the Light, of course, with Blinding Light. It's not like they have BKB on the Legion Commander, but he's able to dish out so much damage to these team fights because he's just not under control. The Earth Spirit is the one that single-handedly is winning these team fights for WG.
Is WG actually backing away from a fight? OG's pushing in the top lane. I think they realize that it is a bit of a trap. They also pinged on Notal, who had the effect of the healing ward. So they know Rubik is also hovering on the top lane. And of course, why do you care? The tier 2 tower gets pressured up a little bit. The Earth Spirit's there to defend, and you add more pressure towards the mid lane.
Yep, 4 heroes are there. No Aegis anymore on OD. Have to be a little bit careful. But with the added Glimmer Cape on the Earth Spirit, that's a lot of magic resistance. And 100% with Fate's Edict. So they're not really scared. The Keeper pick seemed pretty strong at the time, but due to the itemization of Warriors Gaming, it's very difficult to actually damage people with the Illuminate. And he has no points of mana leak at the moment. So that's the majority of his spells.
I think Flyers realize what this game has become for him. Defend from high ground, that's all. If you can build up to the Aghanim Scepter, he will make life a little bit more difficult for WG.
Yeah, he can't. He doesn't have farm priority. I guess he's probably number 3 after, of course, Invoker and the Morphling.
You give him the farm priority where he holds the base and the rest of OG move around together.
Yeah, and this way the LC can't jump. So LC just looking for a stray hero with his invisibility rune on the Radiant side, but there is no Radiant hero even close to him. He might get baited out by this illusion, however.
And, yeah. Actually, Notel jumped in. He jumped to that illusion at the same time Kangaroo started the duel, so he broke the Lincoln Sphere of the Morphling.
And I see the headdress, so that means pipe for OD. I think they can push with the next Aegis. They just need to be able to push out their lanes in time.
Well, thanks to our time, and we know Roshan's only got like roughly 2 minutes. That's a decent spawn time. Won't be the maximum duration of Roshan.
Yeah, maximum would definitely benefit OG. They just need this game to play out a little bit slower, buy some more time for the Invoker, and they can stall if the Invoker doesn't die, but sometimes he has a split push, so if Morphling's strong enough to split push and they can just recall him back, then Invoker can stall for days.
All that time is getting them closer on the net worth. Like, it's only 2,000 in favor of WG. Experience is a little bit more heavily swung the way of WG, around 7 grand. But the top 2 net worths, they're very, very close. That OD and Invoker brushing shoulders. There's WG on the hunt. They want to try and tilt this balance. Do they actually see? Yep, they got a glimpse of Ana. They know he's on the sidelines. The Sunstride's coming over. They look for the kill over on the OD, but support will arrive. Ana's going to get dueled up. And imprisonment from Jirax. He stole it. So cancels the duel win. Ana might be able to escape out of this one. So far, OG haven't lost anybody. In fact, they're thinking about turning this. The SK's down. No, Notel. Waveforms into the tree line. Starts his TP. Furo gets in. Can't find the kill, however.
Well, WG kind of had to brute force that fight with items. They saw the Juggernaut on the top lane with the Observer Ward right outside the T2 tower, so they knew that it would be a 4v5. And there is no T2 on the bottom side of WG, so Juggernaut took a good 25 seconds to come to that fight, and the Oracle was very far away from the OD, but luckily he built mega tanky and was able to survive. And as you mentioned, big plays from Jirax saving Ana. They need this Invoker to stay alive so they can keep pushing out those side lanes, and WG looks like they will claim this T2 tower.
Well, it's only a matter of time before this would happen, but that fight could have been a lot worse. A lot worse for OG.
Yeah, they're hitting all their timings with their items. BKB's up. Pipe came out not too long ago.
Yeah,
Diffusal Blade on the Juggernaut.
You still, he knows he can't do this. Like, press the attack. What are you gonna do? You're gonna duel the target. The Lincoln still isn't triggered yet, so he knows he can't find the kill.
Wow, if that boulder had hit, that was really close. Maybe if he had his BKB2 for that little bit of extra damage, that was extremely close. And they would have been able to take a lot out of that. Maybe even perhaps force a no-tail buyback. Unfortunately for WG, they don't have the mobility. They have no BOTs, they have no recall, they have no replicate. So they're like struggling to push out the lanes right now. They know that this problem is only going to be compounded as the game goes on. So I think like right now, the net worth is pretty close, but OG have diversified into more late game, whereas WG have committed very heavily into this mid game. There's not really any farming items on a Juggernaut. He went for Diffusal Blade Manta as opposed to Maelstrom or Battle Fury, so the farm war is going to go OG's way if this game stalls out, but I don't know if OG have invested enough into this high ground defense, however.
And when you say that, you mean like the Aghanim Scepter? You do still have like 4 points up in Fate Bolt.
Just fighting items, right? Like sometimes you won't see invokers go BOT until like super late. It depends too on the lineup. If you have a keeper, you have the luxury of not having to go BOTs very early on. And maybe like a BKB. Actually, I don't even know if you get BKB this game on the Morphling. I don't think so.
The big advantage of at least having these BOTs nice and early is the fact that OG may even dodge the WG high ground push. Always worried about what's coming in behind you. Double forward spirits with Alacrity up. Oh, hello. S4 tries to make a little bit of a play. OD gets spun around by the Yule Scepter.
Just buying time for the top lane. Ana right outside the T3 tower with Fly at his back.
Well, one Illuminate will probably mop up that entire creep wave, but TP support's already coming in too. S4's arrived, but they're returning home. Jirax is solo holding that bottom lane. Astral, not a bad ability to have if you want to start nuking down creep waves.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best abilities. I think it's OD's strongest spell by a large margin. And being able to use it defensively and offensively, and it's such a low cooldown, very high uptime. So are they actually going to push here? OD is not there. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so it's going to take him a while to run up to his team. And in the meantime, OG will be like, okay, well, we need a hero to show on top lane for WG, so they can't push. And they're trying to force that already with No Tail waving past the creeps.
He's actually using the replicate to scan and look on the other side of the tree line, but no TP scroll for another 10 seconds. This initiation on bottom, they find Arfu, toss him away. Jirax doesn't want anything to do with this.
This is their time though. The Rubik had just pushed out the creep wave. Now they have a creep wave going into mid, so do they want to commit to mid right now?
They just TP'd Ana to the top lane as well. OG have got all three of their cores looking to attack the top lane, and WG have got a choice to make. Do you come back and defend? Here's your first one. Legion Commander is there. Earth Spirit as well. They look to the Invoker. S4, can you help him out? The Burrow strikes out, but with the BKB from the Legion Commander, nothing interrupts that duel. And S4 now also on the run out. If they can catch up to him in time. Burrow strikes, other side of the tree line. Kangaroo gonna hop in right behind him. Still with that Magnetize, causing a couple of problems for S4, but he's got Sandstorm. And WG realize they're not gonna be able to catch up to him, but No Tail, that's a bigger one. Juggernaut finding him in the top river. He was begging to get to the regeneration room, but Archit denies him.
And they're trying their best to push aggressively, but now their big two split pushing cores are down, and healthy time left on the Aegis. WG only limited OG to 4 kills thus far. And can they end the game here?
Yeah, you're doing this while S4 is still pushing out your top lane. So again, S4 is trying to find some level of trade. The Dire Creep Wave, they don't really have one. The Illuminate's going to get connect. Fortification as well, slowing down WG's attack, and they want to try and fight. They've got it. The melee, backdoor regeneration's kicking in. They need a little bit more damage than what they've got. Hard to finish the job when you just don't have the big deeps, but they'll still get there in the end. The melee racks will fall, but look to top lane. SK pushed him before. Anna's still there with the Forge Spirits, and this brought the Earth Spirit back.
Easy racks. They're in and they're out.
Blink, no duel, S4, Jirax. They weren't exactly certain how they wanted to approach that one. S4 was looking for the Burrow Strike.
Oh, he was really quick with that Sandstorm. WG had the vision advantage. They have an Observer Ward immediately to the northwest. So really quick on the fingers there. They need to stop hemorrhaging kills. And
S4's dead. Astral Imprisonment. The Juggernaut's preparing around him. Does he actually have a way? Burrow Strikes down. Legion Commander's there, but again we'll wait for the Astral. Spin begins. OD. Well, drops the Eclipse very early on. It ensures the kill on the SK, who has buyback available.
Look at Earth Spirit's position. He's waiting for Ana to come up. And Ana will not bite, knowing what happened to him last time.
He TP's back. Remember, OG, they want to send this to late game, so no reason to send too many people out on a bit of a suicide trade.
And now they see the OD on top, so a couple of minutes of reprieve for them as they breathe the sigh of relief that they survived another push, survived another day.
Well, Notel tries to bait with the illusion on bot. Yule Scepter ends up killing it. Looks like Legion Commander was preparing himself for a duel, just in case it was the real thing.
Yeah, I don't actually think a Pike is too bad for the LC, just so he can instantly pop a Lincoln. And I think that Invoker is building a Lincolns too, so this gives more merit to the Pike build. There's not that many other ways you can pop a Lincoln Sphere as an LC. Maelstrom is very unreliable. What other items are there? Don't really think there's that much else.
What do you think about the Abyssal Blade?
Abyssal is decent, but it's very expensive. I don't think they want to wait that long. Diffusal is also a pretty good option, but I think if you're purely just building it to stop the Lincoln Sphere, I think Hurricane Pike is much more useful.
Or he just relies on his teammates. You
Yeah,
got that Earth Spirit with the Blink Yule Scepter. That'll be enough to trigger it, but you're also building into 2 Lincoln Spheres. Invoker is rapidly approaching the conclusion of his. So initiation's a little bit harder for WG, but they say, well, if this turns into a push game, they're okay with that. Blinding Light, trying to make life a little bit more difficult. Apu jumps in. There's the duel over on the Morphling. They're holding in position, and the Morphling goes down. Buyback is available. S4 sandstorming, no big epicenter. It was the Magnetize committed. There's no straight up follow-up, but a Blink, Burrow Strike, definitely blast Juggernaut, almost pushed back into that Sunstrike. The Blinding Light just keep pushing them around Ana to the front lines with the Morphling buyback. Now Notel has to be careful. The Omni Slash, so much of it hit him, but again, Jirax with the Stolen Imprisonment. S4, the epicenter, and Illumina is still minimal damage. WG are just so damn tanky, and Nana wants to keep fighting. So much stolen intelligence. Nova dropping low. The Burrow Strike's there. Finally, the OD. A self-imprisonment. Hurricane Pike is off cooldown. He'll have maneuverability, but not when Notel appears inside of him with the waveform. Sunstrikes. Oh, okay, that's not hitting anything, but they can at least kill up the Earth Spirit, or can they? The kick, the stun. He just moved up on top of the hill.
Costly hold from them. Morphling. As you mentioned, the Earth Spirit went in on him. I think he blinked, he Yules, and then they dueled on him. And the second time after he bought back, he wisened up and he was strength morphing as the
Ana
burst was coming out.
Was being chased. Luckily for him, he managed to get a tornado off, and this pushed them away.
They need to spend all their gold for this next push, though. I think like they can win the game. Saving for buybacks is not that important because they don't have a good way to get back into the fight. If they had recall or BOTs, I would say differently, but they need to invest, and I think the LC is kind of torn as to what to buy right now. So let's see what he buys as he approaches the secret shop.
They do have the recall up on fly with his Aghanim Scepter, drags the Morphling into a double damage rune. WG will be kind enough to oblige OG and fight.
Oh, he went for SB. Okay, that's a little bit of a different approach. Still no good way to pop the Lincolns, but it will give the Earth Spirit information on who to initiate on, because right now the OG wards have been superior to the WGs in giving the information as to when and where they can split push out. But hoping with this he can bypass all the observer wards that they have. I think it'd definitely be best paired with a gem of True Sight, and WG have not made any signs to buy one as of yet.
I'll give him time. There's still a lot more left in this game if we go with the current rate, but it's bottom lane. That Shadow Blade's about to wear off. No vision for Ana looking at the tree lines. Now you'll see the Juggernaut arrive. Ana picks up a Blink Dagger of his own, but 13 seconds till he can BT off this bottom lane. And the Legion, Kangaroo can smell it. He smells magic in the trees. The scan from Dire is just a little bit off. Is he going to walk back into it? He pings it. He pinged the scan. They know Ana is in the top part of it. And well, okay, that's the smoke. Ana blinks up. The kick will be there. The stun will remain. And now it's time to duel, but they don't have detection. They don't see him. Ana, not just moonwalking, ghost walking out of the bottom lane. Is there any kind of help?
Xnova has 4 of Sentry Wars. Is he going to place when he gets hit by the
He got
Ghost Wall?
defeated.
Yeah,
but the blink away, Ana's already out.
You know it's gem time now. That was a kill that they blew so much for. The Earth Spirit even smoked. He blinked in there and smoked it just to see if he was there.
And problems for WG.
Kangaroo walking down the mid lane. There is a Sentry. He's right in there. Wow.
Quick blink, and he gets a Tornado, however. Press the attack's available, and he's going to BKB. That's the 8-second BKB now down for the Legion.
I'm still surprised they haven't bought a gem. That's a clear sign that they think they need one, but maybe they're unsure as to who's going to buy it. The 2 supports don't have 900 gold as of yet, and maybe the Legion Commander wants to save it for Silver Edge or whatever item he wants to save up for. But I think they're starting to feel the pressure a little bit. They're like very desperate to kill the Invoker and kill the Morphling. The net worth still only 5,000 in favor of WG, but as this game keeps going on, the stalling with the Replicates, Constant Illusions, the Blinding Light, the Illuminate, they have what they need to hold high ground, despite just being 1 racks down.
We'll see if Vegas and Cheese is enough to get WG in to finish maybe a second lane of racks. For now, they're just starting Roshan. And OG will do nothing to contest this.
They had the Scepter up on Keeper that you were talking about. And a little bit late, 35 minutes in, but I think that's given in a vacuum. In this sort of game, I think it's very respectable that he got it at this time.
There's your Aegis the Immortal. Slips into the hands of the Juggernaut. So Ajit will have to be the frontliner. He is a little bit tankier thanks to this Skadi style build he has.
And finally a gem. Oracle has bought it. Is he going to give it to the LC so that he can hunt the Invoker and the Morphling? He still does need a partner. Himself alone won't be enough. But I think all they need right now is like a pick onto one of those heroes and then a push and force a buyback on one of those 2.
Oh, bottom lane, SK. S4 just got himself a solo kill onto the Oracle. Support is there, Juggernaut. Yeah, you're not finishing those BTs in. But G.Unity is looking to the top lane. With a blink and a 4-star, they can initiate on the OD, and this is what we were waiting for. The pickup, the throw down, Meteorite, a little bit of a blast. He can't even... Okay, he does get the arms up in time to get the Astral Prison. Blink is off cooldown. Definitely blast timing from Ana. It's good. Hits the mark. And OD is down for 70 seconds with buyback available.
Just so bold walking in there. He is very tanky, but there were 3 heroes just prepped for him, knowing that he would make that sort of bold play. That's
Legion.
So much time.
He just dueled up the illusion, the replicate of No-Tail, and No-Tail will turn around the Burrow Strike again. S4, right time, right SK channel. Legion makes a break for the tree lines under the cover of Shadowblade. The Tornado does not catch him. He'll make his way up the hill. Caustic Finale has got him, and now press the attack. Ana, he wasn't ready for this, and he can't have been ready for that, and so much damage. Afu's going to rolling boulder straight over the top of the Morphling, triggers off the Lincoln Spear. Maybe now with a Fortune's End from Nova, he can remain alive and get back out of this nightmare with the silence, with the slows. Afu still surviving. Morphling won't be so lucky. It is WG moving the momentum forward. Fly and Blinding Light. Where's your stun? Where's your disable? Where's anything? Fly the old man. Wise escapes.
Earth Spirit just got in there and put the Morphling in a very compromising position.
Stolen! Jirax! Snaps down the Legion Commander. Ends the godlike streak. 1,000 gold for Rubik because he is the grandest Magus.
That stall is out there pushed for a long time. One incredible individual play coming out from him. I still think Earth Spirit is making the flashy plays this game, though.
Yeah.
He's just been destroying this morph constantly. 1 in 6 is what No-Tail is limited to this game. And, of course, Xnova, too. Just sitting right behind him with that perfect timed false promise.
Really smart positioning from WG, but it's expecting the unexpected from OG. That's what's giving them the space to maneuver around. Yeah, you kind of missed that one. It's fine, though.
They're looking for a pick on the bottom lane. They're already setting it up. They have the Ags up on the Sand King and just waiting for a lone hero to push out. I think they would need the epicenter to kill him, but this is not the target that they want. OD, I think, would be the ideal one, and he already senses it out, just spinning the wave immediately. Do they want to get
Here's
rid
your
of Stages?
epicenter. Wait for it. He's too far away. Jin already backed off the creep wave, so epicenter will go down for now.
Yeah, that's the second time he's used epicenter for potentially would have been a solo pick. That was only on the Aegis too, and WG, they might see that and think that that might be one ulti cooldown enough for them to actually be able to get a kill. And Rubik on a solo warding mission will get one deep inside the base, just looking for the information so that Morphling and...
Oh, Afu. Oh, he was starting it. He was ready for the kick, gonna rolling boulder down. Anna, Lincoln Sphere is going to trigger the Gem of True Size there, and because he triggers the Lincolns, they can start the duel, hold the Invoker in position, and a winner. It's been a while since Legion was one of those, but he has 130 plus damage. I think G.Rex is also looking for something else himself. They get rid of the replicate.
They need to push out top lane as soon as possible. They have to be able to stall for Invoker. You do not want to use buyback right now unless you absolutely have to. And it looks like WG will be ignoring the top lane. But top lane is already exposed for WG. There is no T3. The range Rex is at 280 HP. So at the bare minimum, it looks like that will already be going down.
Flyer's positioning. He just nuked that wave when it was back at the mid-river. S4 is going to creep skip out the mid. The top lane continues to pressure as well.
But bottom lane is going to go in.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, the top tower is going to fall before. If they TP back, their push is done for.
It's enough to defend. Like, with Illuminate as well as Fade Bolt, no creep wave is able to enter the base, and you've still got the Omni Slash on the Rubik for the moment.
Yeah, you might have to, like, pipe this wave if you want to push at this exact moment. If not, your window may be a smut, but they're only too strong at the moment. And that wave is done.
Yep, this is that defense. Very difficult for WG to get all the way through without triggering pipe beforehand, and then life is still difficult.
And Earth Spirit has TP back, but he still hasn't caught out that Observer Ward, and Legion Commander's like, how did they know I was here? And let's see if he gets his Observer Ward. This is a pretty important thing in the grand scheme of things.
He is in range. He actually blinked over it for a second.
Yeah, so he got this now. Like, OG can't push top lane as freely as they wish. That is their only Observer Ward out on the map, and now it is dark. And it's nighttime too, so keep it alight. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to actually not die while split pushing out the lanes and defending. They've constantly been able to creep skip with the Sand King, with the Morphling, these very elusive heroes, but will they be able to keep it up at the most trying time?
And you can see Dire already looking for it. They scan up on the top lane. S4 is hovering around, but doesn't find any kind of moment. And Afu, he also knows that he keeps checking this hill smack bang in the middle of the Dire jungle.
Oh, they're walking under Observer Ward. Ana is revealed. I believe they know that S4 is in that top left corner too. This could be a disaster.
They definitely know, but also, look who's moving up. It's Notel coming into the lane. The Burrow Drive from S4 catches the Earth Spirit, so Magnetize can't get on. This will allow Ana to make a break for the tree line. 125 life. They push down, but he blinks away! The space is there. Earth Spirit doesn't want to give up. He's overblinked. And into the trees. He doesn't know. The TP out is again successful.
Wow.
This Invoker is one slippery little sucker.
Some individual play right there. Earth Spirit did not think he needed to commit to Magnetize, and he just blinked away kind of casually. And that was a difficult one to escape, especially because WG got the heads up with the ward.
And now again we find ourselves in this position.
Yeah, that's all OG are
Notel, get out of there. Triggers the Manta nice and early on. They get the Linker Sphere off. Now overcomes Nova with the nukes. Notel's down and no buyback is available. He is down for a very long time.
He thought they were just pushing down the left side of the map. I can't really blame him for that because he thinks that they're going for the game-ending push. But WG are like, well, why don't we just kill Morphling and then get a game-ending push?
That's one way to do it. A lot safer to do it that way. I have to keep in mind that, again, keeping a creep wave alive is difficult.
They can push two lanes at once. Like they can just send a Juggernaut top. I guess maybe the OD might be a little bit better. Yeah, Juggernaut top and then just go down the mid with everyone else, or just commit mid everyone else. They do have the creep wave finally. It's zapped down.
Yeah, no creep wave anymore. Juggernaut already used his spin. S4 with a Burrow Strike. Sunstrike will connect Juggernaut. Looking a little low, but there is a little bit of a heal behind him, and Ana blinks in to try and find the initiation.
It's that important that he kills the healing ward, though.
Yep. Now, Blink, Fire Strike, it's S4 trying to find better angles. That tier 3 town still alive.
Morphling's almost up. They've wasted almost a minute, and looks like another 10 seconds will be wasted as the ice wall is dropped at the foot of the base, and Ajit tries to walk up there.
And with a spin, he can at least get in, but now Nana blinks forward too. S4 wants a way out with the Sandstorm Invis. He actually had a way to do it. Jirax will create a little bit more space with a Stolen Astral. And Burrow Strike, oh, will it be Anna? S4's waiting. Now the Burrow Strike catches two. Juggernaut broken free by the False Promise. Earth Spirit also lucky enough. No, he's not. No Tail able to reach him with a last attack. No breaking free of this. Nova trapped to the tree line, surrounded on all sides of the OG sandwich.
And the gem lost at the same time. And a little bit of their inexperience showing through, not picking up the gem early enough to kill that Invoker, and then just not... When you're up against like a Rubik and a Keeper who just can push out one lane at once, you have to be able to push multiple lanes. And like 4 of the heroes were just sitting behind the Juggernaut waiting for something to happen. But OG, they aren't going to initiate while the Morphling is down. You need to make the most out of that minute that they had. And they lost 2 heroes, they lost the gem,
Legion.
And just got a T3.
Kangaroo slips in behind, finds the old man, but doesn't attack fast enough. S4 gets the Burrow Strike off. OD Imprisonment from Nana creates a little bit more space. Support is there from the Juggernaut, and now, well, a quick movement out. Epicenter right on top of the OD, but S4 trapped in the tree line. Now Burrow strikes its way to freedom. Falls will actually be enough with Legion Commander running in, taking so much damage for very little reward. The Omni Slash onto Notel, shared out with all of OG. Anna 4 stops away. So many of OG low. Now the duel begins, but Morphling is the winner in this case. Now it's also Nana. Nowhere to go. Illumina will fly at defensive imprisonment. Creates some space. Archer needs to do more damage. The kick is out. It's actually the one now coming in. Where's your Eclipse already triggered? A double kill for Nova. A triple kill for Nova. WG, they're pushing him back out again. The Purifying Flames have brought down OG. They heavy buyback. They have to defend this WG push, but no ulti's now up.
Man, if you'd watch this game only, you'd be like, why is Earth Spirit not picked more often? The amount of damage that he did at the end there when everyone was clumped up around that secret shop just devastated OG, and both their cores just got destroyed after all their defensive cooldowns were up.
A lot of buybacks coming out from OG now. WG, they still know the Invoker is down, so it's a good opportunity. If they can find a kill, they'll keep the numbers advantage going their way. Blink forward, they're only finding a fake Juggernaut. Obviously they know it's fake because it's one of theirs.
And there is no buyback on the Invoker for 30 seconds.
Another fortification, Yield Scepter on Nana. Burrow Strike catching both the Juggernaut. That blind light pushes it back so far. The duel is only on illusions. The BKB was triggered for this as well. They want the melee racks down. Problem is they have to commit themselves into a rough position to get it with the spin from the Juggernaut. That's a lot more protective. Notel trying to keep the kite going with that Skadi. The spin doesn't stop the slow. False Promise from Nova. More space trying to be created, but another imprisonment as Jirax again, time and time again, really messing with the Juggernaut. S4 misses the Burrow Strike. The kick from Arfu hits the mark, catching out the SK, but more blinding light. They just can't get the damage in. That's why they start with the spin. Notel, Lincoln Sphere has been triggered. The damage may be enough with the Omni Slash. He bounces back down into the heroes of OG, but the damage is negligible, and now Omni Slash stolen up by the Rubik. Look for that target. Lets it go. The Juggernaut cops the brunt of the attack. Defensive imprisonment buys the space. Nana's doing work for his team. The spin's still out. Oracle is down. Buyback is back in again for him. With the ice wall, WG just cannot pass with the Burrow Strike and Epicenter. Another defensive imprisonment. They'll be called by the Tornado, so at least they're in close. But Morphling, well, he's already killed off the Earth Spirit. They're looking for more. Legion still insanely low. Can't hide inside the Shadow Blade. And now it's OD. The Burrow Strike. This one from S4 does not miss. OD blind line pushed him up the hill into the waiting arms of the Invoker. He'll take him inside of his cloak and be happy to absorb the power of the OD with Burrow Strike, Sun Strikes. There she is. WG losing heroes. They still have buyback. They still have the momentum of the top lane that's pushed inside the OG base that's almost taken out the range racks. OG have trouble at home.
Yeah, and it looks like they're headed over to Roche at this point, and how many Astrals came out during that entire fight? OD ran out of mana. The mana leak percentage base incredibly good. I don't really think OD did that much damage at all. He prevented a lot, sure, with his pipe and defensive Astral during the Epicenter, but still, they need more damage. The LC can't really do that much once BKB is down. The Juggernaut is the main brunt of OG's attacks.
OG's not being fast enough. Roshan is not falling out. They also saw the Morphling leave to go to the bottom lane. Now in comes the Legion Commander. Oh, the Tornado! It caught both Oracle as well as Kangaroo. They can't blink in. That time may be enough. Now Kangaroo jumps in. Roshan, they got the Aegis Immortal. It's in the hands of Notail, who got recalled back into this fight. Now the battle begins. Kangaroo, no vision on him at the moment, but who do they want to kill? The Blinding Light pushing up through, back inside the pit. Starts his roll, but the Cold Snap interrupts it. Locked in the pit with the Yule Scepter. He'll actually get back out again. That was his own Yules. Buying the space, buying the time, but bottom lane, the Boris Ride from S4. Archit's in trouble. He's spinning, starts the TP. The life is not enough. Buyback is still available, and thanks to the push by Kangaroo on mid, OG still need to go home. They cannot use its Aegis to attack yet.
They lost a T4 in that process, and the Rain Drag's still, I guess, okay in that mid lane. That's 280.
It's holding on for dear life.
It is. But that was a big fight for them. The LC didn't even have a chance for an Aegis steal there because he didn't have an item slot. I think a little bit of nerves are perhaps getting to him. Duel the illusion earlier.
It was actually not even the real Invoker. It was a replicate that just called out the WG Courier. Had a decent amount on it, just the energy booster of Afu as well as Ring of Aquila.
Can they hold? It's another nighttime. It's not going to be as easy for like Rubik to get all these amazing spell steals that he's been having.
If only Anna knew. You need defensive Tinker Wards for that kind of play. Just had a bit of a guess with the Tornado, but the Legion already TP'd out. It was time for him to go home. Kangaroo was practically out of mana.
And the Morphling's very, very big at this point. And Juggernaut, neither the Juggernaut nor Legion Commander can like run
swing. Just the events, even though a lot of the dots belong to WG, for the first time in a very long time, OG are leading the graph in experiences, not by much. It's by about 1,000.
And they're smoked up, close to roast. There is an Observer Ward, may give WG a false sense of security as they push out this lane. Juggernaut just respawned. He does have BOTs if he wants to join the fight. They're trying to deward.
That Observer Ward's wonderful, but with the Earth Spirit, all he's got to do is rolling boulder up, blink back down again, but G-Rex initiates. It's the OD imprisonment used by the Rubik onto the OD, broken free by the false promise of the combo from OG, unable to connect. WG just want to bail out. They have Afu, who's in the wrong side of the tracks. His own Yule Scepter once again. Rolling boulder, not going to happen when S4 gets the Burrow Strike off OD. Now here's defensive imprisonment with a Sheep's Guard, trying to kite out this position a little bit more. The kick will fly down. The Legion Commander wants a target. He's looking to Ana. Ana with the duel on him. He'll go down. Buyback is available, not using it just yet. The Coddle's ticking out too. The Magnetize has done work. S4 trying to repair the damage with his epicenter. Afu still able to roll himself away with the Legion Commander. They're so low on life. S4, he's thinking about coming back in again. The Blink and Burrow is available. Notail trying to man fight it with the double Burrow Strike. With the kick, Afu has done so much work this game, and it's right that he helps Kangaroo find the triple kill. With the Aegis Immortal triggered, Morphling back to life again. Does he have enough to get out of here? The answer is no. Almost 2 minutes without the Morphling. Rubik will buy back. They need to do some kind of repair work to this mid and top lane before WG arrive.
Oh, Afu, he is the big playmaker here. They don't have detection to start off this fight, and look at how Ana gets jumped. Afu sits a boulder on him. Kangaroo BKBs up and takes him down. They know that he's priority number one. There is no Aegis on the Invoker. And like just the way he started off that fight, they didn't have detection for him. They all in on him.
WG, they'll get Megas at least here. Well, we're stolen. Another imprisonment out. Invoker buys back. There wasn't long left on the clock. He would have really preferred to wait that one out, not expend the actual buyback. Afu again jumps in, found the Invoker. The duel is on, and Ana is down. It's a dieback right now for OG's Invoker. This is now guaranteed Megas. It'll have to be a miracle to hold OG here. Jirax, another imprisonment. Keep the OD out of the fight. The tier 4 towers, WG, they're so close to going one game up against OG and maybe eliminating them from Boston Major, two-time major winners. And they're on the ropes. Afu dropped down low, Notail pumping in a fair chunk of damage. At least forcing Nana to think twice about pushing in, but without the Invoker, without the Rubik control, No-Tell, he's still just one man, and he is gone! GG! 56 minutes in took. OG put up one hell of a fight, and WG held the lead for a long time, almost lost the lead in the last couple of minutes. But they fought back, they held their nerve, and they take game 1.
That was some beautiful Earth Spirit play from Warriors Gaming. He just made everything happen for him. And that game was purely on him. Early game, mid game, late game. He got the picks, he stopped them from split pushing, he set up the team fights, he baited them in. He did so much for his team.
I wonder if you knew what you were asking for when you said, man, this Earth Spirit's going to have to do a lot of work this game.
I like that from them.
I know all of our Dota players keep going off to the gym all the times, but this man benched more than they have ever done in Dota. That was a huge play by Arfu. 24 assists with his 5 kills. Did so much work, and everyone did so much work. The damage output, everyone over 20,000 when it comes to the WG lineup.
Mm-hmm. I also like the OD's build in the early game. It's a very unusual build for him and allowed them to pressure the towers much more than they would normally.
Yeah, a lot of freedom for the Earth Spirit. Panel, WG, they're looking good. Winter, maybe not just your heart, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you should have seen Winter throughout the entirety of that game. He started with a big smug look on his face, but then as 20 extra minutes were added to the clock, he got a little nervous. Oh, man. Warriors Gaming, when does this story stop, Malini? When does this story stop, Toby? I mean, like, literally, they came into this one as we barely knew anything about them, and now they're, one away from a semi.
I'd like to have the same kind of approach as we had with MVP at previous Valve events. It only stops when somehow the magic runs out. That's it.
Well, I'll be talking to this magical trio in just a little while. Thank you very much, you two. We'll be back in a mo. It's happened. Warriors Gaming have actually drawn first blood in the series and picked up the first of 3. I've got myself, Fogged, Winter, and Pyrian Flax joining me. I'm starting with you, Winter. You were the one that believed on the panel, just yourself. And Warriors Gaming continuing to surprise. I asked you at the start, it's like, is this seriously something that they can do? And you said it's not impossible.
I did not expect the early game to go like that well for them. Their lineup scales really well in the mid to late game. Morphling does not excel at dealing with the LC and the OD. He was like almost completely shut down in the whole game. He couldn't do much throughout the first game, and he had to rely on Ana was basically carrying the team after that. Morphling couldn't do anything. He was single-handedly delaying the game for the whole team on his Invoker, and like we mentioned before, Arfu was he was a beast this game on the Spirit.
He actually played so well.
Just when Malini said, you watch this game, you wonder why Earth Spirit's not picked more.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fox.
No, Ben covered it perfectly. Early game, Earth Spirit was everywhere. Mid game, Earth Spirit was everywhere. Split push decision, split push catches, Earth Spirit. Late game, Earth Spirit. This guy put this team on his shoulders, really. I mean, not to take anything away from the rest of them, but he really just overperformed.
I mean, I think the best thing that he did in the whole game, it's not a really big play or anything, but the early game, the way he chose to stay bot to help the LC, because LC loses his lane against Sand King if there's no help. And OG did an aggressive tri lane, Rubik, Kotl, and Morphling, to try and contest their somewhat weaker lanes on WG. And because they understood that they couldn't really do much to help that lane, Earth Spirit, he was roaming and helping mid. He almost killed the Invoker early. He was pressuring, and he caused them to not lose the early game that bad.
Almost killing Ana. Ted, there were some squeaky bum time moments with Ana escaping, wasn't there?
There were. I always think it's great when someone escapes on barely any health. It's so exciting. But you've got to think, if that's the big plays we're picking out. I mean, he did play very well, but so much it was wow, he barely escaped. I mean, that shows they were on the back foot, I think, for a lot of the game, is that if the top plays you can pick are, he escaped with his life. You know what I mean?
That's why I said he's merely just delaying the game for his team. He's not winning the game by making his big plays, Right. Whereas for WG, every step they make, they're getting closer to ending the game.
I mean, if that was in a movie,
this
it'd be ridiculous. But, I mean, that was just insane.
Ooh. I liked what Ben pointed out, too, about the OD, his build. It may have looked a bit unorthodox, but versus OG's lineup, we did emphasize in the drafting phase how they were very magical damage heavy. So he goes for this pipe build, which enables them to be able to 5-man. And since they won 2 lanes pretty handily in the early game, they were able to kind of group up and use that method to just force a couple towers that they probably wouldn't have been able to get without that build.
But you mentioned he probably needed to swap over for BKB a lot later, because as the game progressed, he didn't have a BKB. He was basically getting owned by the Kotl mana league, and he was getting cold snap. He was getting deafening blast. He was basically doing nothing in the fights apart from like defensive astraling. Like
But that was enough. I mean, if you look at how long it took them to kill him, so many of these fights.
That's why the game drew out very long. Like if he could kill the enemy.
Like in that fight right there, though, imagine if he had a BKB there. It was the Earth Spirit pretty much like carrying the fight like, once he showed up. But if the OD had maybe, I think did he have the Moon Shard here?
Yeah,
I believe he did eat the Moon Shard.
He already had the Moon Shard.
But if he had the BKB, he wouldn't have to worry. Okay, he didn't have it even yet, but it was soon. But yeah, if he had it, he wouldn't have to worry about Blinding Light, Mana Leak, all these different instances that he was kind of just standing still, not really able to attack. When you see your OD only has like 3 or 4 kills.
3 kills the whole game.
3 kills the whole game, yeah. You like at one point, even though the build was so great early, at one point he does need that Magic Community versus OG's lineup.
That baffled you, didn't it? When you were looking at the scoreboard winter, I just remember just before we came on air, you were like 3. Only 3? You couldn't quite comprehend that.
Yeah, it's an OD. OD is a hero killer. Like you have 3 kills in almost 60-minute game. That's something that you don't see often. Like,
I mean, that LC was picking up 15. We'll bring the scoreboard up in a little while later. But I mean, you know how we framed it as Warriors Gaming, they work as a team. We said that there wasn't particularly those stars standing out, and this game has broken that. We've seen some real stars established in this first of the series.
Yeah, the captain definitely stood up for his team, like his rotations and his decision making, like how he caught No-Tail and Ana multiple times in the early game, and his itemization was really good. He went for a Glimmer Blink, and he needed the use. The reason he needed the use because they needed someone to pop the Lincoln so that the LC could duel and just lock him down. LC, you don't really want to build an item to break the Lincolns as LC, so he needed to rely on his team, and Afu there just with the perfect itemization for his team.
And he needed to be there. That was the thing. He needed to be there. His
mobility. They were moving like hand in hand the whole game, the LC and the Earth Spirit.
Glued to each other. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Something we encountered was that game could have ended, 20, 15 minutes earlier. Warriors Gaming hit a bit of a wall winter. They couldn't seem to break into the higher ground. Now, what was it that eventually broke? What was the straw that broke the camel's back eventually there?
I think at the end of the game, there were a couple of really, really key pickoffs by the LC, and the reason why they were struggling was because they were up against the Kotal and the Rubik. So basically, those two heroes cleared out the whole wave, and Sand King was doing some creep skipping. He was trying to, remove the creep wave so WG couldn't push, and they were having a hard time. But once they got the pick off, they pick off 1 or 2 heroes here and there, and they were able to just proceed to close out the game.
When you have like OG going for a Morphling last pick, and it was definitely like one of the better picks that they could go for, but WG had the heroes to deal with a Morphling. Like the Earth Spirit, the OD, the Legion Commander, these heroes excel versus Morphling at all stages of the game. And we could see No-Tail really struggled. Like we were even like kind of talking about like what build does he really want to go this game? Like obviously you want to go for the Ethereal Blade. He doesn't really want to go for the Manta. You need a BKB. He needs so many different tools to be able to deal with what WG dishes out with theirs.
What do you think would have been a better carry for No-Tail in this game? Like we were trying to think
it was
what
difficult.
I think it was difficult.
Because the reason I did suggest the Morphling at some point because they picked Kotal. They were like building up into like a split push carry, but at the same time the enemy does have very good heroes to deal with the Morphling, so they were kind of like disregarding what the enemy has and going for what is good with their lineup.
And with all of that said, I mean, you can't help but wonder, OG, what's going on in the OG camp right now? Fogged outside, you know the players. You've already said that you think the Brotail and everything like that. They have just conceded that game. They're now on the ropes, and conceding one more game of Dota does get them eliminated, and they are here to try and pick their 3rd major for the OG organization. What's being said? What words are being exchanged in that huddle right now?
I think they just need to like crispen things up. Yeah, I think just reset the crispen things. I think No-Tail struggled a bit in this game. I think it was the nature of the hero and just the nature of the matchup that he was versed, but maybe just like play a little bit more disciplined. Like he went for a couple plays in the early game that I think kind of set him back a bit, but I think they just need to pick him up, just be like, don't worry about it, like we still got another couple games coming ahead of us.
Don't you want to put Jerax on a more roam heavy hero? You don't want to put him like on a Rubik despite him being really good on the hero.
Okay.
I guess so, yeah, and also Rubik, Kotal, like those two, they're not like two of those that come to your mind where like they're these two super strong supports that scale very hard in the late game. Sure, Kotal does and Rubik can, but Rubik doesn't really have the greatest spell steals in this game. Sure, he can get Omni Slash and OD ulti, but those aren't like these like, whoa, he only has like a couple things that he really can get.
Well, I mean, No-Tail, his shortcomings are evident when you do take a look at the scoreboard. Certainly did not have the most enjoyable experience on that Morphling, albeit the panel were quite happy with that decision.
I mean, some of it wasn't really his fault.
Yeah,
because of the nature of the matchup that his team put him in. So it was really difficult to play Morphling this game. But I must say his early game wasn't very stable. Like he made a couple of really bad errors. Like he died in a tower at top. Like he ran into 3 heroes. Like he tried to farm under the tower. He made a very risky play. I think with their draft, they needed to come out of the early game with a bigger lead. Without a good lead into the mid game, it's going to be very difficult for them to fight what WG has as a team.
Playing versus a tri-core lineup that also has heavy team fight on the side of WG, it was very hard for OG to, they need to split the game up and take it to an instance. But yeah, like Winter said, they needed to really come out ahead in the laning phase, and they didn't. They only won one lane, which we were a bit surprised upon. But Afu, you saw there, 24 assists. This guy was everywhere on the map.
I mean, we did say that one of the win conditions for Warriors was win their lanes, and they managed to do so. We were quite, I don't want to say critical, but that we definitely had some question marks about the Warriors gaming draft. Have they made a believer out of you now, Ted? You a fan of the Earth Spirit, the Oracle popping up? We were frowning upon some of that.
Yeah, I mean, they played so well.
Sure.
I think that's the thing. If you were to maybe even swap the teams and give each team different drafts, who knows what would happen? But I mean, you can't anticipate. Given the way we were saying, the lanes are going to go, and then they just turn around and win them. I mean, you can't anticipate that as OG. I guess what you've got to do is come back and say, all right, what do we go for? I think they have to change it up almost completely. You've seen the heroes that they could play well. Do you ban those out? Do you go for a whole new approach? It's tough because Warriors showed they are a good team. I mean, that was a good performance.
Earth Spirit may have become the most contested hero in this, other than, the Shadow Demon Lunas, but those will probably just be banned out. I think the Earth Spirit's going to be a really big factor for both teams.
Yeah, I still stand by my
so?
point where they're going to need Jerax on a roaming hero.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So step one, get Jerax on a roaming hero. And step two, I mean, I find this interesting. So Afu's prowess on Earth Spirit, was that because of just the way he played it, because of his mechanical ability with it, or was it because of the unexpected element and OG not being prepared for it? Is this something that you could just repeat, get repeated success?
He plays the hero a lot.
Right.
He likes to play the hero, and he was a good pick in that situation.
OG know that hero.
I mean, what I'm saying is it can't be that. I mean, you were saying it's going to be contested, right? You're saying suddenly it's becoming the most contested. Is it really something Afu could just pick again and find the same success again?
Possibly.
Really?
Yeah.
Going to get spicy. Looks like we're almost ready for jumping into our second draft, but there is much more to be said when it comes to do we see a third. That's where you see the players are getting their bums back in seats.
These are experienced guys,
Yeah.
OG. I mean, that's the one thing you would say is they're not going to lose a game and panic. They'll have had a plan in place for this, I'm sure. Warriors need to keep doing what they're doing. They played with confidence. Just make sure you don't ease up or try to goof around or try something different. I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing, winning lanes apparently against the odds.
We did say, their strength was they need to win the lanes, and then they need to, in the mid-game, stay together and have this clumped up, very heavy team fight emphasized lineup, and that's what they drafted here. Even with the Oracle for the sustain in the mid-game, we were a little bit like, how do we feel about the Oracle in the laning phase?
He was really good with the OD though.
It worked, you could see he was able to just spam out his heal when they were pushing towers, and with the Essence Aura proxy has infinite mana. And so
Well, the wild ride of the Boston Major does continue as Warriors pick up the first in the series versus OG. The Boston Theatre will continue to make a whole lot of noise in just a moment, but first we're going to be checking in with Purge. He's going to explain what went so right for the Malaysians.
Hey guys, pretty fun draft that game, but OG kind of put themselves into a little bit of the corner with their first couple picks. I think basically this was their only hard carry that was on the team, so they were kind of reliant on picking something very strong at the end that could survive a lot of the damage that Warriors Gaming was doing. But the problem, like the panel pointed out, is that they had some very big tools for it, and that's Legion Commander Duel, as well as the Earth Spirit Science preventing him from morphing. So that kind of made a huge impact on the laning stage. And if you take a look at how the lanes were set up, it was basically favorable towards Warriors Gaming. The Oracle last pick really offsetting a lot of the magic damage that OG wanted to do in that game. So first crucial gank here, much later part of the game obviously, but a lot of min-maxing coming out of Kangaroo here. Most importantly, using press the attack and then following that up with overwhelming odds. And as soon as he did that, he blinks in duels. Because if he gets duel off in time, then Morphling's unable to use Morph and get more HP. So those kinds of small advantages, if he didn't do those spells perfectly in that order, he wouldn't have been able to get the kill. And really, this is maybe one of the more crucial moments is just how well Earth Spirit played in his early roaming, because it constantly set people down. Now, something that you may have missed there, if we jump forward just a little bit here, is that as he's rolling in with the rolling boulder, he's instantly prepping the stone to disable him as soon as he gets in. If he doesn't do that perfectly, he did start his ultimate here, by the way. If he doesn't do that perfectly, then Anna's able to get away. This was a stone that he put down that he was going to grab for silence later, and now they're about to walk into the stun stone that he pushed in the first place. So just the way that he's executing these ganks are amazing and creating so much space for his team. This team fight was also really relevant. Earth Spirit actually hiding up on this side. Remember, the only way to stop him from morphing is to silence him before he realizes there's danger. So he has to instantly get that done as he's rolling in, drops the stone, pulls the silence back, which allows them to initiate, follow up with a stun, and there he was maybe able to morph, but he didn't make it in time, and his team wasn't able to back him up. And then because of that, they can duel the backline and grab the Invoker instead. I mean, there were so many amazing clips that we could have focused on, but we don't have all day. We got more games to play.
I love that. Purge is spoilt for choice. That's how good that game was. As Warriors Gaming, coming in as the underdog, are now one game of Dota away from a semi-final spot at the Boston Major. It is truly